Hey, good morning, everybody. Morning, Larry, Val, Alan, Don, Dan, Brian, Sergio, Dex, Jan, David, Everett. Good morning, Everett. Rungamer, Yabar, Rabrar, Michael, Al, Larry, Ed, PD. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the show. Morning Monster, got the red. It's kind of like red berry. I guess it's kind of like raspberry mixed with a strawberry kind of flavor. It's pretty tasty. Probably one of my favorite flavors. Anyway, also like the strawberry dream flavor. Yeah. Anyway, welcome. Good morning. How about this market, huh? PPI coming out this morning, moving around a little bit. Looked like we were gonna get a flash down, but pushing higher in the futures here in the last few minutes. I was kind of focused on it, watching it very intently, seeing if we were gonna get a breakout. Um, we'll go through the price pattern. Yesterday, we stopped right at the 1.0 extension up off the lows. That kind of like that gave me a sense of not really panic, but I was just like, uh-oh. And I talked about it during 30 MA last night, 30 Minutes of Awesome. If you didn't watch that, well, I talked about it. And I can go through it briefly today. I don't plan on spending as much time on it because maybe it doesn't pan out. So we'll see. Anyway, welcome. Glad to have you. If you got anything you want to talk to me about, just hit me in the chat. If you're like, I don't see the chat. Well, you got to be a subscriber. Hit the button right over here in the corner where the monster can is. A monster. And a few seconds later, after you're a subscriber, you get to chat while I'm live. Now, if you're tuning in after I'm no longer live, you'll have to leave a comment down below if you want to ask me a question or come visit me in Discord. And for supporters, I run Discord. The link is in the description. All you have to do, it's like $5 for 3 months, or there's other options, and we can build some trust. The two of us. Once you trust me, then maybe we go further from there. Anyway, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss, though. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. I may never get another thing right again. But this presentation here is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. All right. I may talk about stocks, cryptos, options, futures, Forex, whatever, but I'm not recommending you buy any of them. All right. And if you do desire personal financial advice, you need to hire a consultant financial advisor with a fiduciary duty to take care of you based on your situation. Now, PPI came out, and probably should refresh this really quickly. PPI right there, core PPI came in a little hot, and month over month coming a little hot. The market, PPI, I guess probably not as important. This is producer prices, and that can be like a 3 to 6 month front runner for CPI. And we do have the FOMC minutes coming out later today. I thought it was yesterday. I had written it down wrong, and that's why the market didn't really move at 2 p.m. because it wasn't out yesterday. They're out today, and I'm sorry if I alerted anybody to that prematurely. That's today, not yesterday. Right there, CPI tomorrow morning, pre-market. That might be the big mover. Now, with PPI coming in hot, like I said, that tends to front run CPI by 3 to 6 months. So when PPI is running warm, we can kind of see it on the graph over here. We had it running hot, and inflation was running hot. This started back here in 2020, and then we had inflation really ramping up, and then it just kind of died back off. But we're getting a little bit of, we're just kind of in the chop at this point. I don't know that we're going to ramp it at all. If we start getting a move up through 0.7, 0.8, that's like, if we get anything up here 1.0 or higher, that's like where we're going to get inflation again. Just kind of banging around right here in the, below 0.7. I mean, inflation's there, but it's not, we're probably not going to ramp inflation again. So there you go. Now, CPI tomorrow, we'll see what happens. This may come in hot too. We'll see. We've been ramping it up a little bit. We're kind of elevated on the CPI month over month, and the core, you know, kind of at a resting rate there at 3.3. We kind of, before we went through that inflationary period, 0.3 was kind of bounce between 0.1 and 0.3, a couple 0.2s in there, and we get dip. Are we going to continue the downtrend, or do we start firing this up again? So that'll be the big. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow, but the market may, if we rally up to resistance today, we may get a pullback on CPI tomorrow. And then we have, of course, financial earnings coming up on Friday, and we'll see what happens here. Could be an interesting rest of the week. Now, popping over and looking at this, we have the key resistance right up there, right up above us. Kind of stopped right here about 43.59 on SPX yesterday. And that's the key resistance. We got to clear it to go higher. I mean, duh, you got to clear the upside resistance to go higher. I mean, hello. Sometimes I have to say it for it to sink into everybody. All right. There's the resistance. It's right where we consolidated back here in August before we did the pop, and then we dropped right through it. So we're going to have resistance there that we're going to have to clear in order to get on the path to go higher into the end of the year. I think we're probably bullish. Everything is kind of tilting that way. So we'll see if this can firm on up for us. We may get a retrace. All right, let me pop back to that real quick. We may pop up here, hit the key resistance, retrace back to the roadmap line before we can break out. That may be the path. All right. Yeah, if everybody remembers the lines I had drawn on here last week, I had a steep retrace in here. It may happen from here. It may happen from up here. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. All right. We may do it from here, and we may do it from right up here, around 4,500. So looking at the candle chart, a little bit more sloppy here. And we do open in about 9 minutes. So this is all pre-market still. We kind of rejected that gap yesterday. Came up, poked into it. I mentioned that may be a resistance yesterday. Well, guess what? It was. It may take us another attempt or two to get up and fill that gap. And look, I mean, that's 4,400, and we may retrace back to the roadmap line after we do that. All right. It may correspond. Like, this is looking at the actual candles, not just the daily closes. You know, this chart we were looking at a minute ago was a simplified version. This has more information with candles and tails and all sorts of stuff. We left a gap over here. That gap is resistance. Gaps tend to be resistance. All right. Now, pulling it on down, getting the morning monster list. S5FI came up above 20 yesterday. Well, solidly above 20. Did a little hammer thing. And as I mentioned yesterday, we usually double dip. I mean, I keep talking about this. So we may see. Tried to sneeze there. Might still try. Come on. Allergies get me, man. Get me. Anyway, S5FI, we may see the double dip before we can take off and run up toward 80. So that's kind of the things I'm watching. Keeping an eye on this one. Look, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row. That's pretty strong. All right. We, rewind back here last October. We didn't really get a 5 green day up. So this is a pretty strong reversal off this low. We just kind of did some gaps and then did that double dip and took off. And it wasn't a lot of days till we got right up to the top. Just be careful being short, being bearish out there. Please be careful. All right, what I was talking about. ES. Let's jump down some time frames and kind of draw this out just a little bit. So what I was talking about earlier, the potential that kind of spooked me a little bit, if you will. We had the low right down here on Friday. Well, Really, it goes back even further. It goes back to the 4th. That's where the 0 point is. I should probably pop this up to 30 minutes so it's a little tighter. So we had this low point here. We rallied up and chopped around, came down, made a higher low, and then popped up to this point here, A wave. This point right here, a 618 retrace that was a B wave. And then we popped up here, and this 0 point to A wave is the same exact size as this B point to C point here. Well, we came up just a little shy of it. 44.25. This is on ES futures. That's the SP 500 futures. We stopped right there. Similar move on SPX, but a little bit different proportions. Again, we stopped right at the 1.0. Now, this is up a very popular proportion, Fibonacci-wise and Elliott wave-wise, for a correction. All right. Now, it's hard to argue. I mean, you can argue all you want, but the trend has been down for 2 months. This was a downtrend, right? We retraced right back into the roadmap line. So, a corrective move up at ABC, even though it lasted a couple days, could just be correcting the downtrend. All right. The proportions kind of like, I was just like, it didn't make me panic, but I was like, uh-oh, when I saw that. I talked about it last night. We need this to break out above. We needed to really run up here to like 45. That would be swell. Run up to 45, finding resistance on ES. You know, ES and SPX run about 30 points difference. This one about 30 points higher. So that's really what we want to see today is continuation higher. Now, in the low time frames, what I've seen this morning, we'll have to jump down even lower. We made a low right around 2:30 this morning. Right there, a spike down. We came up and we did 618 retrace and we made a higher high right there. And just a few minutes ago, like at 9 o'clock. This is what I was keeping my eye on before I got on live. So, can we get continuation higher? If we can hold a higher low here on this move, and this isn't live, this is delayed data, delayed by 25 minutes. So, I mean, these candles are behind. And if we hold this up here, break out higher, good. If we don't, we start breaking down below this low overnight, we might be doing a bigger correction. And we could get a nominal lower low because of this ABC correction up. We need to get higher than this point here. And really, we need to get on up to that 4,500 area to really kind of put the kibosh on the end of this correction. All right. Breaking above the roadmap line the last couple of days was very positive. And like I mentioned before, it was an initial bullish indication. But the way the proportions were inside here, it just gave me a pause for a minute. Like, uh-oh. So we need to get continuation. The market opens about 3 minutes, and we'll see if we can blast on off out of here. All right. And we may rally right on up to resistance and retrace on the CPI. So just be careful. All right. We're not out of the woods completely yet. So go seasonality. Exactly. Let's hope that trading on hope's not the way to go, but let's hope that seasonality is, we're ready to start that ramp into the end of the year. I vote yes. You let me know in the chat if you vote otherwise, but you know, NASDAQ actually looking very positive though. This one may come up and retest this high right up here. So there's the resistance zone there. You can see we kind of consolidated for 2 weeks right up there before we dropped out this last run down. And that's looking even more positive than the S&P. Now, Russell doing something a little different. Not, while we did have 5 green, you know, this is the 6th green day in a row. We're not getting through resistance yet. This one, not doing the higher low situation nearly like, I mean, we haven't even been on a uptrend This is kind of a sideways choppy trend all this year. This is small caps, Russell right here. IWM would be the ETF if you're unfamiliar. And we're hanging out down here at the lows that we've been at ever since the banking problem. We tried to break higher, rejected, and came right back down into this blue box. This is where we consolidated in March, right after the bank, Silicon Valley Bank and the others blew out. Took a little diversion up and came right back down here and just consolidating in this zone. And that's not overly bullish. It can lead to an extension lower. We need to get back up out of here. That's got my eye on that one. CL looks like we're just pausing here. We might very well retrace back to the roadmap line. Do a higher low maybe. There's the market. I heard the bell in the distance of my other computer. GC starting to look maybe like a reversal. We need to clear that roadmap line. And there's an alert for GLD right there. Got it on my watch and then it pops up right there. Yeah. So I was looking for that reversal to potentially get going, and so far so good. We need to be back above the roadmap line though. This might be done. This is kind of like the initial indication that we might be done. We need continuation back up above the roadmap line. If you want the roadmap line, links in the description. $5. That's the thing I was talking about. So there we go. Bitcoin continuing to show some weakness on the futures here. Fully retesting the roadmap line at this point. The spot market fully retesting the roadmap line at this point. And if we get below these lows, as I talked about yesterday, we may go make a lower low, retest this low from back here in June. And if we can't hold that, we may go on down. So price action is not supporting a move higher at the moment. Just not proving it to us. And we do have A equals C off the high right there. That may be the correction and we can blast off, but that was a 3-wave up at this point. Not the strongest. And we are overlapping this high right here. A lot of things not looking so, it's kind of like those, my no bueno, not too good. All right. Bitcoin has mucked up this pattern, and unfortunately, it may take another flush to clean it up. And Ethereum looks like it needs that final flush to make a lowest low in this correction off of this high from back here in April. Bitcoin topped out right over here in July, but Ether topped out back here in April, and it's been on a correction ever since. And it looks like it needs one final flush out to get out of this, get this thing wrapped up, and so we can go higher. Dollar continuing to push on down, sitting right on that support, right at that low from just a few days ago on the 29th. Sitting right there. This is the same size move as we had right back here when we touched the roadmap line. If we push back below this consolidation area right here, right there, we're probably headed back to the roadmap line. Push back down in here. And that roadmap line may be up here into this by the time we get there. So it may go retest that right there. If we do that, we hold that, we'll probably pop up to 108. If we break down here, we're probably going to go lower low, maybe finally go down to the mid 90s like I thought we were earlier back in the summer. All right, what's moving today? Lily, nice pop, getting a retrace already. I mean, looks pretty good, right? Next extension, somewhere around 628, maybe 659. MDB, bouncing off the roadmap line. The conservative entry is a move up through 407, looking for 468, 509. Some bullish stuff. I mean, these are getting some nice potential setups going here. ESLT, another potential bullish setup here. Retraced right back to the roadmap line. This is right at a potential. If this candle turns green, closes the day green, that would be a conservative entry. Looking for 232 and 242 on the upside right there. Race, another one. Beautiful potential bounce off the roadmap line. Another beautiful play. Right there, right there. Close up in this zone, right around 3, green candle up in this area right here. Sets this up 340, 355. I mean, it's actually a very nice setup. PXD, that is a buyout now. XOM paying a 7% premium over the Tuesday close, and nothing to do there. Exxon Mobil buying them out, and the deal's done. I wouldn't trade it. It's going to drift up to the buyout price. I think it was 253 maybe. I don't remember. There was a lot of billions of dollars thrown around and a lot of stock prices in the article I read this morning. They closed the deal, or they have a deal in principle, I guess. They need to close the deal, and this thing will just ramp up into that close price over the coming days. XOM getting a little drop on spending a bunch of money. I think they're paying $55 billion for PXD. So there you go. Let's see. What is... Yeah. They're basically paying the market cap $55 billion. So I'm going to close that deal out. NVO. Nice pop, not breaking out yet, but that may be all that she wrote on the retrace for now. I kind of expect it to come down to the roadmap line. If we turn down from that 618 level, we may go fully test the roadmap line. But 104, 109, if we can turn green, get a green close, those become likely. ACAQ, SPAC, don't trade this stuff. It's gambling. Choppy, nasty, gnarly. FSLR. Yeah, that could be it right there. We get back above the roadmap line, game on. Let's remove that at this point. That is a key support place. We get back above this up here, game on. We don't really have an intermediate aggressive entry right now. I mean, you just have to jump it if you felt like risking it and put your stop aggressively below the low. More conservatively, you need this thing to be back above 205. Looking for 257, 289, huge potential upside, but you need it to prove it to you. FNGU, that one, nothing's changed there. Got to get above that resistance at that 200 area, then 250, 280 on the upside. ENPH, and this one potentially reversing off of that support also. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful touch. That's a beautiful pattern. That correction can be done. We need to see it start breaking back above resistance, get above the roadmap line. And this one could go quite a ways up here. Quite a ways up. Talking about all the way up here at like 383, 457. Man, it's like, we're talking about triple from where we are right now. Beautiful potential just on shares. And it may take a while. DEO. That one also could be looking for a reversal off these lows. We may extend down to 143. May go touch this orange box. Remember, it's not an uptrend until we're back above the roadmap line on any of these. FDX. Beautiful, but looks like it wants to go retrace to the roadmap line. Next extension up, 277, 285. Got that resistance right up there where the gap, left that gap over there. And we may go test that resistance on the upside. DVA, Delta Victor Alpha. Huge retrace. Ouch. You got to hold this area. If we don't hold this right here, it's like the line in the sand, this blue line, right at 76, 786. Retrace at 76. We need to hold that. If we don't, probably going down to the 52 area right there. Hubs. Beautiful retrace into the roadmap line. Nice three-wave pattern. Very, very nice. if we can break back above this high here, right around 550, looking for 613, 656 on the upside. Beautiful potential right there. Beautiful. SILK. And that looks pretty horrible. Medical specialty, biomed stuff. Don't mess with that, all right? Don't mess with that. Humana, health insurance. UNH has been really strong, and it looks like Humana may be trying to catch up with them here. The bigger pattern. Got that resistance right above us at 520. If we can get above that, looks like 608, 658 on the upside. Yeah, these are some high price stuff. So far, that's just a 3-wave-ish move up. Be careful. UNH looking a little stronger, maybe. Not making the morning movers list, but I do have targets up here at 620 area for UNH. ANET. That one looks like it's going to chug right up here to the target. Up at 206, maybe. Getting a little pullback today, but not going to take much more extension. FMS. And don't have a lot of good to say there. That's a big drop. Run the fib off of this. Needs to hold in here at 16. If it doesn't hold 16, we may be on the way down to 8, which is like cutting in half. Ouch. Be careful, all right? That's another medical, nursing, biomed, you know. I don't like the medical stuff. Like, that's one of the 4 areas that just don't always follow the patterns. That was a 3-wave corrective up. Extension down. We'll see where the target might be. Right there, 34, possibly 29 on the downside. SNX. Just chopping around on the roadmap line. Could work on an extension higher. It could push on down lower to 91. Nothing solid right now. It is a nice retrace, but it's not in a trend. It's just in a sideways chop, and it may continue to sideways chop. TMV bounced right off of that, back to the 100. If it holds this area, it turns up again, 58. But I wouldn't bet on it. There's a lot of buying going on in bonds right now. All right. Just wait for it to prove it. If it's going to turn back higher, get back through 46, 50, we may be on the way to 58, but we may retrace back to the roadmap line after this ginormous run. I mean, look at that. Last time we touched, right back here in July, and it went straight up practically, right to the target at 51. Even though this is leveraged, be careful on leverage. Leverage stuff doesn't always follow my patterns, but right there. Could come right back down, but it could go right up to that next target. TXN. Whew. Up to the 1272, retrace pretty deeply. That's big sideways bull crap pattern at this point. There's nothing. I mean, that's nothing. There's nothing there. It's just a big inside the range, choppy hot mess. Don't mess with that. NOG, N-O-G, Northern Oil and Gas. Maybe turning up off the roadmap line. Got to get above those highs right there at 41.50, 45, 48 on the upside. TBT, making a drop. May come back to the roadmap line. Ultra short treasuries. And then TLT, I threw this in here just for giggles. Sitting right there. We may get the extension down to that further target. All right. So, bias for the day. Cautiously higher. Cautiously. Be careful. We may hit resistance up here and turn down sharply, come back and retest the roadmap line for a higher low and reset the F5 FI. All right. If I said anything that you found useful today, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe share it with somebody you think might like this kind of content. And I appreciate you coming. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you again tomorrow for another Morning Monster where we talk about what's moving. We'll talk about CPI and the upcoming earnings that are coming up. We're getting financial earnings starting up Friday. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting as we move into earnings season that really gets going the next 2 weeks. we're gonna have a lot of stuff reporting earnings over the next 2 weeks. So we have Citibank coming up on Friday. Look, you already got money flowing into financials right there. It's flowing in. What happens on the earnings on Friday? I don't know, but we've already got money flowing into financials. So if you want a broad, leveraged way to do that, right there, money flowing in, you can see it. So like and share. Thanks a lot. Thanks for coming.